I really hope the lighting in here is good. I've been waiting all day to film, thinking that the sun was gonna come out, and it didn't. So here we are. Hey, it's Original Curly J, and today we are kickstarting the very first episode of monthly mental health check-ins. What are monthly mental health check-ins, you might ask? Well, every single month I'm gonna come on here and talk to you guys about something that I learned throughout the month that can be useful information to you guys, and vice versa. You can tell me any information that you learned from this past month, how your month went, and let me know your mental state. That's the point. Mental health check-in. Yeah. This is an open, judge-free zone, so you can comment it down below, or if you don't feel comfortable because my comments are public, then you can DM me on Instagram. But as I'm learning, you're learning, and I know the things that I learn can be helpful to others, just like the things that you learn can be helpful to me. And on my channel, we are all about learning about ourselves and discovering new things about ourselves, loving ourselves, and becoming a better version of ourselves. And to kickstart this amazing series on my channel, today's episode topic is oversharing. So before we get into this, don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up if you're excited for this new series, and comment down below how you're doing. My month was very interesting, so I just want to hear how you are all doing, because mental health is extremely, extremely important. So I got my handy dandy iPad here, and we are just going to go ahead and get started. So what is oversharing? It's when you give too much information about a given situation or a specific person. And sometimes there are things that it really doesn't matter if you overshare, that aren't too personal, but then there are some things that you just really shouldn't be telling just anybody. One of the biggest places that you see people overshare on is social media. Social media is like the number one. They just post personal issues and descriptions on their stories that maybe their followers just shouldn't know. You can find yourself oversharing for various different reasons, like you desire attention, validation, you're lacking boundaries, or you just need emotional regulation. Now, I'm not calling you out because I am a chronic oversharer. At one point in time, I was sharing everything with anyone because I just needed some type of feedback, which we'll get into in a little bit. So I'm just giving information that I've learned from myself to possibly help you if you are also an oversharer. Because most times you're probably not even gonna notice that you're oversharing. So you have to catch yourself, because it's not that great to overshare. It makes life 10 times more stressful. Now, if you're curious into knowing, how am I an oversharer? What do I do that might be oversharing? How can I tell? Let me help you. That's the point. These are things that I've noticed in myself. Yeah. When you work to fill the silence inside of conversations with personal situations, why are you trying to talk about yourself? What are you doing? When your family and friends are your therapists, and you believe every single choice that you have, you need to run by them. Now, it's okay to ask friends and family for advice on certain situations because they only have your best interests at heart. However, the advice that they're giving you is from their own personal experience, not yours. So they're only going to give you information to help you not go down a route that they went, when really your situations are not going to have the same outcome. It's not going to be the same, and their advice can only go so far. So because they're trying to have you avoid a situation and an outcome that happened for them, they're going to often lead you down the path that they want you to go down, not the one that you should be going down for yourself, because that's what you want to do. You get me? And yes, they are friends and family and you trust them, but they don't need to know every single thing about you. And you don't need advice on every single decision that you need to make for yourself. Because at that point, you're not making the decision for yourself, you're making the decision for other people. And that opens a door of not having boundaries between you and someone else. Instead, it opens a door to where they feel like they have an input on things that you didn't even ask them about. So they're gonna constantly give you advice even when you're not asking for it. And this is a very similar construct, except for this is social media. If you feel like your social media followers just know a little too much about you, like they're literally DMing you about personal stuff, you're oversharing. You're doing a little too much on your story. And oversharing is also sharing your location. Be careful with that. That is a form of oversharing. No one needs to know where you're at. They don't. Another way to tell if you overshare is the fact that you yourself can't respect other people's boundaries. Yes, you can be the problem. Because oftentimes when we're sharing and we're oversharing ourselves, we expect others to overshare with us too. because we feel like it's a bonding moment or a place of relatability. However, this doesn't always work, and sometimes people just don't want to share with you information that they don't feel comfortable sharing with. Which leads us to asking very personal information that, why are we even asking? So now that you know all of the signs of how you could possibly be an oversharer, now it's time to talk about how to stop oversharing, how to put an end to it, and how to alter the way you overshare to help you live a simpler and less stressed out life. So the first way to stop oversharing is to pick your confidence wisely. Confidence are people that you trust with certain information. This is important because you want it to be someone you have a connection with instead of some random person. And even with a confident, you still don't want to overshare and tell them literally everything about you. But it helps you not run to just random people. Another way is to skimp on details when describing a certain situation or person. So it's okay to talk to somebody about a personal experience, but you don't have to give nitty-gritty details, especially on social media. So skimp out on some details and just give a paraphrased version of exactly what happened. Next, if you feel overwhelmed and you really just need someone to talk to, why don't you journal to yourself, almost as if you're talking to someone else, or pray and talk to God. Yep, I said it, and nobody wants to hear that, but you know what? Journaling as if you're literally talking to someone, like, today was so crazy. I can't believe so-and-so did this. Honestly, that made me feel like this. It sounds like you're writing up almost a text for somebody, but the text isn't going to anywhere. You're writing on a piece of paper or you're typing it inside your notes and it stays there. So when you read it back, it's almost like there's a voice talking back to you, describing how you feel in the situation. And of course, if that doesn't entirely work, then talk to God, pray. You're literally talking to someone who knows everything already about you and how you're feeling. So all you're doing is just expressing yourself to God. Now, if you're not religious, that might not work, but at least try journaling. Another thing that you should do is think before you speak and really think about who it is that's in front of you that you want to share this information with. Like, why do you want to share with this person? Is it because you feel a place of relatability, or you really don't care and just want somebody to listen to your problems? Some things are worth holding on to. You should also, instead of a text message conversation, because I know we have these, I know we do, you should wait before you hit send. I just send messages. I do. Now that iPhone has that little edit feature, I go in and I edit something, but then the person already read it. The point is, read it before you send it. Yeah? So before you send that long paragraph to your boyfriend or girlfriend, reread that thing. You might be saying way too much, and you might be sending it to someone who might not even read it or care about what you're talking about, or probably doesn't really understand things through text, and you might need to verbally say it to them. Regardless, oversharing through text is very easy to do, and sometimes you just have to reread it before you send it and get rid of some things because not all of it is needed. And this one goes very heavily with the last 2 points. You kind of want to use all 3 of these at once, you know? But you want to organize and articulate your words and be self-aware, because oversharers babble. They talk about whatever, they don't really care, and they're kind of just on go. But when you actually stop and articulate your words and what you're trying to say, you catch yourself from doing that and being random and talking about the most random things. You also should practice self-limiting your time talking and learn to be silent and listen to others. This allows you to become mindful of your own surroundings instead of shifting everything on just yourself, which leads me to the next point. You want to balance your conversations and not just make it all about you. You want to approach conversations in a give or take type situation. This allows you to focus on the interests of others instead of just basing it around yourself. Sometimes that can lead the other person to feel like none of their conversation matters, and really, why are they even having this conversation? It's like they're not even there. You've got to give to receive. That's the give or take. So if that person is listening to you, try listening to them. See, it's a simple construct, but people don't seem to know how to do it. I was one of them, trust me. And lastly, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hit some people right in the stomach. Stop seeking attention and looking for validation in everything you do. because sometimes you're not going to get the answer that you were hoping for, which is just going to stress you out even more and balance in between what they told you and what you think you should do. So that is where you need to stop oversharing, stop asking for that advice and looking for somebody to make you feel good about your decision, because they might not agree with you, but at the end of the day, you should be doing what you want to do, not what they want you to do. And yes, being an oversharer is extremely hard to correct that behavior. Trust me, it is. But in this last month, I have been able to tweak certain things that I was telling people or being too open about, including family. I know a lot of people are gonna hate me for that one. I don't care. I don't care. Just because they're blood doesn't mean that you have to tell them everything. It doesn't mean that you have to accept everything that comes with telling them everything, okay? And honestly, it's a behavior that not a lot of people even think about. They tend to overlook it. However, if you can kind of shift that oversharing that you do into a more private lifestyle, then you're gonna sense that you're gonna be less stressed, you're gonna be doing what you wanna do, and you're not going to take things so personally. I have personally felt myself become less stressed because I am not thinking about what other people feel about my situation or what they have to say about what I should do, because I'm doing what I want to do. Anyway, so I do thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did, give this video a huge thumbs up. I would certainly appreciate that. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I look forward to more episodes of mental health check-ins every single month. I look forward to helping you guys become a better version of yourself. But now September is here, literally tomorrow, and it's a brand new month. Do not carry over anything from August. That's why we're talking about it. We're getting it out the way, and now we're gonna move on. New month, new goals, new positive mindset. Let's get it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.